Hello guys, welcome. This is the fifth course series in PHP programming tutorials for beginners, and also this course series will be uploaded both in English and Hindi. This one is for English, absolutely. Secondly, in this course series we'll be discussing about how to set and discuss and destroy PHP sessions. We'll be dealing with cookies. We'll be dealing with our first MySQL and an introduction to databases. Okay, now in this video what we're gonna do is we'll be setting our first PHP session. Yes, sessions in PHP. So basically in this lecture we will cover how to set sessions in PHP and what exactly are sessions. So a session is a way to store information in the form of variables to be used across multiple pages. Or in other words, a PHP session variable is used to store information about or change settings for a user session. Session variables hold information about one user and are available to all the pages in one application. Let me give you an example about this. Consider a case. We all use Facebook, Twitter, for example Gmail too. When you log into your Facebook account or Gmail account, it automatically sets that particular session to you. Basically it stores your information, and even when you close the page, you can even see that Google also displays that you are logged in into your particular Gmail account. So that shows that a variable is storing your information and it is used across all the available pages in that particular application. So basically session variables hold information about one single user and are available to all the pages in one application. That is basically your information will be stored, your particular information will be stored to all the pages in one particular browser. Okay, now let's consider this example. I'll tell you how to declare sessions in PHP. First of all, how to declare sessions in PHP. So in PHP, if you want to declare a session, you want to start a session, you use this keyword, that is session_start. And this is the way in which you can tell PHP that you are using a session, you are creating a session basically. Now we'll declare our session variable, which is a super global variable in PHP. Basically it is already reserved in PHP already. Now how to declare this session variable? It's quite simple. Just like we declare previous variables, reserved variables in PHP by using a $sign, then an underscore, and then writing session. Yes, right here, writing session. Do keep in mind this session written here should be in capital letters, and later on in these square brackets we give our arguments. So consider an example that I have a students info page. Okay, so in the students info page I want to set up my students information. So in the first statement I have passed my argument as name, and that name is Mark. Later the same syntax follows for age and weight also, and I have assigned these values to 21 as age and 45 as weight. Do keep in mind the string always come here in quotes and integer doesn't, and you must use quotes in these parentheses too, along with the session should be in capital letters. So basically how to set a session. You have to use this keyword session in capital letters. Then in this parentheses, square bracket, you give your value, value not index or key, and after that equal to sign you give the value to your index. Okay, now when you open this page, that is session.php, your application already remembers that you have set this particular session to the name as Mark, age as 21, and weight as 45. Now for example I have kept this statement echo done to just have an understanding that we are done. Okay, now when you save your file and look for the output of this particular program, you will see here done, which says that this particular session is already being set for Mark with his age as 21 and weight as 45, and this done statement says that we are done with this session. Now what I'll do, I'll make one more file and name it as view.php, and what it will do is that in here we want to call our session. For this you need to include this file session.php into your view.php. I've told you into the previous lectures that if you want to use the variables or body of another file, you have to include that file into your file. Okay, so here I have included session.php into my view.php. But now, as session definition says that once you have created a session for a particular user, you do not need to include any other files, which I mean, as I want to say that once the session is assigned to a particular user into that particular application, that session is assigned to that user in all the pages, all the multiple pages. So you also don't need this statement particularly here. Okay, you're getting me? Once we have assigned our pages to Mark here, Mark and 21 and 45, you do not need to include this statement because you have already pre-assigned your session to Mark. So for example, you can simply pick your variables from here which you want to include into your view.php and just type out there, just call these variables into your view.php, just like the way I did here. I called my name variable, I called my age variable, I called my weight variable, and I'll just echo all the three variables right there. So once I have created a session, there's no need for me to include session.php. Already the session is being assigned to Mark and in my one application, so I can directly call up my variable's name. Okay, now when you run this view.php into your browser, this particular file, now when you run this view.php into your browser, you'll see that you got 3 errors, and that 3 errors are for undefined index, that is for name, age and weight. This is because happened because you have included our variables but you have not started your session into view.php. You're fine with session.php and session got started there, but in view.php you also need to start up your session. So to keep in mind, always to include session_start into each and every file of yours in which you want to start the session. Okay, now when you look at the output of this program, you can see right here all the 3 values, that is Mark, 21 and 45, got displayed here, which means that this session is assigned to the session we have assigned to Mark, 21 and 45 into session.php is being directed onto every page in this particular application, hence proving that session once declared gives this particular value into each and every pages of this browser. So in this way we included our name, age and weight onto the view.php even without including the session.php. So in this way you can create a session for a particular user, and as I've told you previously, these particular things are used for keeping a user logged in into a particular website unless he does not opt for logout. Okay, so in this way you can use your sessions in PHP. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do comment, review if you find any difficulties with the video, and stay tuned. In the next lecture we'll be dealing how to once you have set your session, how to unset those sessions or destroy those sessions. So again, stay tuned.